Hello everyone, I'm the Saxy Gamer. Today we're here for kind of a leader spotlight, but not really. We're just going to go back and take a look at the tier ranking spreadsheet that I have created as I've done all of the leader spotlights. And as promised, I'm going to go and make some changes to this list. You know, some of the leaders my opinion has changed on. Some of them have been changed around with their abilities. You know, they've been buffed, they've been nerfed since I've actually done their leader spotlights. So this list needs updating a little bit, and I promised a video on it. So now that we've had a little bit of time to settle in with the June 2019 patch, I think that this is a good time to go ahead and take a look at what we have here and, you know, make the changes that we need. So I guess let's start at the top with the S tiers. So with the S tiers, we have Cyrus, Peter, Frederick, Coupe, and Sunduck. I think that all of these guys are pretty much, I don't think that any of them have changed too much. I said that really weirdly. I think the only one that's actually even got changes really is Coupe. I guess Frederick has, because the industrial zones, so thus the Hans's adjacency bonuses have changed, but I don't think it's really that big of a change. Peter also technically got a little bit of a buff because he got the effect from blizzards now as well, but neither of those guys I think are as drastic enough of a change to change their tier rankings. Coupe is the only one that's in question because he did get a fairly significant nerf to the Murray in that it now provides 1 culture and 1 faith instead of 2 culture and 2 faith. The question is, does that drop him down from S tier ranking? I have gotten a chance to play him a little bit. I haven't played, you know, more than 1 game as him since he got that nerf, but I still feel like he is really strong. Is he still in S tier? I think he still is in S tier just because of how easy it is to get so many free yields on him. And that's kind of what makes leaders S tier is, you know, either A, like ridiculously strong capabilities like with Cyrus. Cyrus is a little bit hard to execute just because you have to know enough about the Pairi Da Eza and you have to have pretty decent military strategy to get things working with Cyrus. But with someone like Sunduck or someone like Coupe, you get so many free yields that you can play the game just like a total noob and you can be terrible and you'll still be fairly well off. So that's kind of why these two are in this ranking, because of how easy it is to play them and how good of the yields you can get with virtually no effort. And with Coupe, although he has been nerfed, I still don't think that that takes him out of S tier. So I think S tier is going to stay the same. We do have to assign Diplo rankings for everybody as well. So let's take a look here. So, most of these people are going to get C's because most of these leaders don't really have anything working towards them in terms of diplomatic victory, so that's going to, you know, not really change too much with them. I think pretty much everyone here gets a C. The warmongers might get D's, especially Frederick, because he does take city-states, and city-states are a good source of diplomatic favor, so you do kind of lose that ability if you're playing Frederick, and he doesn't really get any diplomatic bonuses towards it. He's also pretty industrial, which if you build a lot of industrial zones and factories, then you lose diplomatic favor because of your CO2 emissions, so I think Frederick's going to get a D. I think everybody else is just going to get C's, though, because they're pretty standard. They're pretty in line with most of the leaders in getting no bonuses. Is that the right color? I think that's the right color. I never actually remember what colors I make. Is this one? Yeah, I think that's the right color. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the A tiers now and see if we want to change any of them. So Saladin, yeah, I still think he's pretty much where he was. Amanator is one that I know some people think that she should be S tier. Let me give this some thought. I still don't think, like, I've never really had a game with her that I've been like, wow, you know, this is incredible. This is insane, like overpowered. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, she's a very good leader. I mean, that's why she's an A tier, but I've never really felt like she's outstandingly overpowered. One thing that I might want to look at, what did I give her in religion? I gave her an A in religion. I think that's still pretty fair. I think some people were arguing that she could have gotten an S in religion, which probably fair, but I think it's okay where it is. Someone that I actually might give an A in religion, even though, well, maybe not. But let's take a look at Hojo. So Hojo is still an A. He hasn't changed either. I don't know if he's gotten any changes. I think he might have actually gotten some buffs in Gathering Storm, something with hurricanes maybe. I don't remember exactly. Let me Google it real fast just so I can take a look. Hojo Tokimune. I know this video is a little bit, less. I should actually probably specify Civ 6. This is going to be definitely a less formal video than a lot of the other ones because we're just kind of looking at this stuff. But oh no, don't give me an ad. I don't want that garbage. Do they have patch notes? I don't believe they do. So what are his abilities? Yes, so his units are immune to hurricane damage. And civilizations that are at war with Japan receive double unit damage from hurricanes while in Japanese territory. So he did technically get a buff. That's one of those things that it affects your gameplay so rarely that it doesn't really change much. So I think that Hojo's going to stay where he is. One thing that I didn't mention in the leader spotlight, at least I don't think, is that it is technically easier to get a great prophet because you can put down a holy site in half the time. I think that's what the bonus is, right? I believe so. I could just be crazy, but I'm like 90% certain. Or not, okay, not quite half the time, but you get 50% production towards the holy site. So it does make it technically easier to get a great prophet. But once again, I think, oh, I don't want to do that. I think that B tier is still pretty fair for him, so I think that none of that changes. Robert the Bruce, yeah, pretty standard. I actually might lower his domination ranking to C. His military ability is really not that good, I find. I don't know if I've ever actually been able to successfully use it, and when I do, it doesn't really feel like it does too much, so I think we are actually going to lower him down to C tier in domination. I never really find myself, inspired to play domination on Robert the Bruce anyways. Monty, S in domination, B in science and culture. Why does he have a B in culture? Man, what did I say about Monty that gave him a B in culture? Let me, oh man, I must have been tripping. Unless, I don't even remember what Monty does, honestly. I remember his one ability is really good. Let's see, we have, obviously we have some really good military abilities with Monty. So we have, the extra combat strength from luxuries that you have improved, and you get more luxuries, which is a little bit, well, actually it's very nice. It's more than just a little bit nice. Can spend builder charges to complete 20% of a district. Why did I give him a B in culture? He definitely does not deserve a B in culture. What does Monty have in culture? I mean, I guess he takes land, which, is good technically. D in religion. Yeah, I still stand by that. It's so hard on those early civs that you need to spam units. You give away so much by going out and taking the time to build a holy site and focus on a religion that I really just think it's not worth it, like, any of the time with Montezuma, so there's almost no reason to go for a religious victory on Monty, because all you want to do early on is spam Eagle Warriors. I guess it's true that you can rush the district with a builder, but even so, I'd much rather just use my builders for either, like a science district or a campus district or an encampment, or, to build tile improvements. I really think that religion is just terrible at Monty. Also, he's a domination civ, so he definitely deserves a D in diplomacy, since they made it so now you lose diplomatic favor whenever you have a lot of grievances. A lot of the domination civs are going to get pretty low diplomacy rankings. Gorgo up next. Yeah, I think Gorgo, I don't think Gorgo's changed at all. She's still pretty good. Actually, she's definitely going to deserve at least a B in diplomacy. I think, yeah, I'll give her a B in diplomacy. She is kind of like militaristic, but she does have a lot of extra envoys from the Acropolis, so that kind of helps out with becoming the suzerain of city-states. Also, these guys up here, I think everybody here gets a C. They don't really have anything that makes them more likely to become suzerain or any alliance bonuses or things like that, so I think they all get Cs. Pericles is next. Yeah, Pericles definitely hasn't changed at all. He's still insane in culture, and, I think he gets the B in diplomacy for the same reasons as Gorgo. Shaka. I don't think Shaka's changed. And I still stand by pretty much everything. Some people get very mad that I give leaders Bs for science, the ones that are good at domination, but it honestly is just very true that if you are good at domination, you're going to just kind of accrue a lot of campuses and have a lot of cities for campuses, and then you can be a really good science civ as well. So the ability to take land makes you a better science civ, and that's more impactful than like religion or even culture, just because of kind of how it works and how you generally like to focus things when you're playing domination, that you can do science on a lot of the domination civs as well. So I know some people get mad whenever I do that, but I still stand by that. And Shaka deserves a D in diplomacy because he's going to get a lot of grievances, which are going to make people pretty unhappy with him. John Curtin. Why does John Curtin have a B in domination? I don't really know. Oh, never mind. That's right, because he gets the extra production from having people declare war on him, which is very good. So you're okay with getting a little bit of grievances on Johnny Curtin. The Digger is pretty good as well. I think all of this stays pretty much the same. He's going to get a C in diplomacy, just because, once again, doesn't really have anything going for him. And Matthias actually has been nerfed since I did the leader spotlight on him, so he lost some... Wait, was he nerfed since that? I don't remember if I did it before or after he was nerfed. Either way, I don't think that any of this really changes. He's still an S-tier domination civ. Did we skip someone? We skipped Suleiman, but we just did Suleiman recently, so... He actually honestly got a little bit better since some of the battering rams and siege towers got nerfed a little bit, so the fact that he has better siege equipment makes him even a little bit better. I mean, it's not going to change his tier ranking or anything, but he is a slightly better civ in comparison to the other civs. Alright, down to B tier already. Trajan, nothing's really changed with him. Wilhelmina, nothing's changed. Let me just make sure that I'm not giving out any ridiculous rankings here. Yeah, I think that's all pretty good. Genghis Khan, yeah, you see, I wish Genghis Khan was a little bit better. Actually, Genghis Khan actually got a little bit worse, I think. Didn't they nerf... They nerfed cavalry that you can't use battering rams with it now, right? Does that hurt Genghis Khan enough to lower his tier ranking? I think the answer is no. And I could just be dreaming that up. I'm 90% certain that they did that, though. Yeah, I still think Genghis Khan's B tier. He's still a pretty decent civ. Teddy. Okay, here's someone that has gotten a lot of changes, and I definitely think needs to be revisited. So Teddy got quite a few buffs, at least. Let me pull up his leader page. Teddy Roosevelt, Civ 6. Get some nice ASMR from my keyboard here. Let's take a look at what's going on with Teddy here. So, oh, get out of here, ads. So, okay, nothing changed with that ability, but America was the one that actually got ability stuff. So in Gathering Storm, they got +1 diplomatic favor per turn for each wildcard slot in the government, which is really strong, actually. It definitely makes him pretty easy S tier in diplomacy, because that is insane. You get a lot of extra, man, I can't English. You get a lot of extra diplomatic favor from that, which is really good. He also got the thing in Rise and Fall where... all of his diplomatic policy slots are converted to wildcard policy slots, which, once again, are very good. I'm pretty sure I did his leader spotlights before that was even changed. I could be wrong, though. But either way, that is really good, so that's something else he has going for him. And the other thing is, in Gathering Storm, they buffed air units, so the P-51 Mustang actually doesn't suck anymore. It's actually kind of... I don't know if I go as far to say it's good, but it actually is pretty decent. Also, I just realized Suleiman needs a D over here. There we go. But yeah, the P-51 Mustang, a lot better now than it was. So I think that Teddy Roosevelt actually deserves to move up an entire tier into A tier. Which I need to remember how I normally do that. So let's just get you. Everybody needs to move down one. And then let's move Teddy up. So congrats, Teddy, you've done it. Look at that. He's moved up into A tier with all the cool kids. He is a pretty decent civ now. He's one of the civs that's improved a lot since the game first came out. I think I originally might have even had him in C tier, but maybe not. But he has improved a lot, and I think that the bonuses he gets to diplomatic victory as well really help him. The film studio's still insane, and his unique unit got a little bit better, so a lot of improvements for him. Katarja, I don't think she's changed at all. I mean, if this was ranking based on leader looks, though, she'd probably be S tier. But, you know, she's not. Poundmaker. Poundmaker at least deserves a... I'll give him an A, actually. Not an AS. But I'll give Poundmaker an A in diplomatic victory, because you generally like to play pretty nice to people when you're playing with Poundmaker. And you can get a lot of diplomatic favor from that, because if you're not at war, obviously you're not going to be having extra grievances that will... give you negative diplomatic favor per turn, and generally having a lot of alliances will, I mean, not generally, but all the time, having a lot of alliances will be very beneficial, because each alliance gives you 1 diplomatic favor per turn, so that helps Poundmaker out quite a bit. Also, these guys, C, and D, because you are domination. Oh, I got the hiccups now. Katarja, you need a C as well. There we go. Gilgamesh. This is another one of those ones that was very controversial, because a lot of people really like Gilgamesh, and a lot of people think that Gilgamesh is, like, insane. I still don't think that Gilgamesh is that good. Every time I play him, I expect him to be, like, OP, like S tier, because that's what a lot of people hype him up to be, but I really just don't think he's that good. I mean, don't get me wrong, the war cart is insane, But now, since they made it so that on deity, city-states have walls at the start of the game, that, that hurts him a bit because you can't just prey on city-states anymore, at least not quite as easily. So he lost even a little bit of strength from his best attribute, which was his war cart. And also, I think that his abilities just kind of suck. That being said, though, I think he's going to get a B in diplomatic victory, even though he is slightly aggressive, because he does like to have alliances with people, and he is, he gets some bonuses from that. So I think he has that going for him. But no, I'm not moving him up, even though a lot of people really wanted me to. I just don't think he deserves it. I've never had a game that I'm just like, wow, it's just so easy, I'm running away with it, as Gilgamesh. And I think that part of this is just because of his unique tile improvement. I generally don't find it to be all that strong. Just because a lot of the times I find it better to put down, farms and mines to get that food and production. And then later on in the game, you can eventually transition those once you have high population to, science and culture from his ziggurats. But early on, I think that you give up a lot by working those tiles instead of other, growth tiles. So for all those reasons, I think Gilgamesh should stay in B tier. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's still a pretty good civ. All right, I need a drink of water. I'm talking too much. How long have I been going for? Let me check. Oh, I've only been talking for 16 minutes so far. That's not that bad. We're probably going to hit 30. What can I say? There's a lot of leaders in this game. All right. Jadwiga's up next. Anything change with Jadwiga? I don't think so. I don't really think she needs any changes. She's not really that good in diplomacy either, so she gets a C. I'm going to just kind of color everybody later. Pedro. Now, Pedro didn't get any buffs, but he indirectly got buffs, because now you can put lumber mills on rainforest, which is insanely good for Pedro, because that means, 1, you don't have to chop rainforest to get production, and 2, since you get district adjacency from rainforest, that means that you can just leave them there, put the lumber mills on them, get all that extra production, keep the adjacency bonus, and then boom, you're double happy. So Pedro actually has gotten a little bit better. Does it change his tier ranking? Ooh, I don't know. I'm debating moving him up to A tier, because he is kind of similar to, like a Hojo or an Amanator or a John Curtin, that they rely on those district adjacency bonuses, and they get a little bit of extra adjacency bonus from that. Are his abilities good enough, though? That's the thing. I still don't think that he is very reliant on a spawn bias to make him good, because if you don't get jungle, then you're kind of just SOL with Pedro. So I don't think he deserves to move up a tier, but make it noted that if I was going to give a B+, he would be a B+, but I'm not actually going to put that there, because I generally don't differentiate that, because then it makes things way too confusing. But yeah, Pedro has gotten better as a civ just because of that recent change to lumber mills, and the fact that lumber mills got buffed in themselves. But I don't think it's quite enough to move him up a tier, just because of how still spawn reliant he is. Catherine, that's right. The Chateau actually got buffed. So the Chateau is definitely a better tile improvement now. Does it make Catherine any better? I mean, it makes her better. It still doesn't move her up to S tier in culture, though. Diplomacy, does she deserve anything other than a C? I don't think so. So everything's still just kind of fine there. All right, Lautaro is next. This is one that I actually might consider moving down to C tier. I put him in B tier. I think he was probably one of the first leaders I ever did a leader spotlight on, and I was pretty hyped about him whenever Rise and Fall first came out. But after playing him a few times, I realized that he's really not an easy leader to play, nor does he feel particularly strong. The Malone Raiders are really not that good, I feel. The other problem is his Chemamol, his unique tile improvement, if you don't get a good spawn, it's really hard to place those things down, and then you can end up with like no bonus from them. So I think he actually deserves to move down a tier. We're gonna move him. I don't think any of his actual like individual rankings change. Maybe culture should change to a B. Maybe not though. Yeah, I'm actually gonna change his culture ranking to a B. Now, if you get good Chemomols, then he actually is still pretty freaking strong. But the problem is the amount of spawn reliance that he is pretty insane, because if you don't get those mountains and you don't have high appeal tiles, then he honestly sucks pretty bad, because you get no extra culture boost. His abilities are kind of crap, if I'm being totally honest. So for those reasons, I think he definitely deserves to move down. So sorry, Lautaro. He's definitely not on the same level as Pachacuti, which, speaking of, Pachacuti definitely deserves to be A tier. Like, every single time I see Pachacuti, I'm just reminded of how OP he is. So, Pachacuti, I was wrong about you. You're A tier. Definitely. Easily. I might make him S tier in science as well, because he's pretty freaking insane in science. He is really spawn reliant, though. I think I'll keep him A tier. I'll keep his rankings the same, but I think overall he's just like, he's a lot better than I evidently thought he was. Why did I give him a B in religion? Because of mountains, that's right. Never mind. Okay. But yeah, Pachacuti, he's definitely better than B tier. He's way better than Tamiris, better than Catherine, better, like, he's better than all those guys. He's pretty much on par with a lot of these guys. Tamiris is up next. I mean, like, they nerfed cavalry, so that kind of hurts her. But aside from that, she hasn't really gotten enough changes to really make that much of a difference. So congratulations, you get a D in diplomacy. Christina, she deserves to be double F tier, just because she's Christina and her face is hideous, and now I'm going to get the rage comments about that. But she's so ugly that I think she's going to get moved to F tier. No, I'm kidding. She's going to stay right there. I stand by. These ones were done recently because they're gathering a storm, so I don't think that either her nor Mansabusa have changed, really. Let's also color in all of these guys, so that way they are nice and colored. I'm sure there's people looking at the tier ranking like sheet right now. They're like, what's this guy doing? He's nuts. Also, we need to give Lautaro a ranking. Does he get a D? I'm going to give him a D. No, I'm going to give him a C. See, Lautaro is weird because he's, like, kind of domination-y, but not really. Alright, anyways, Cleopatra. Cleopatra got changed in Gathering Storm. I know that. Cleopatra, Civ 6. Let's bring up her little page here. Take a look. I could, just because floodplains changed. Oh, get out of here with these ads. Man, Civ 6 wiki. What a trash fire, am I right? Let's see what has changed with her. So, districts, improvements, and units are immune to being damaged from floods. So I guess she has gotten a little bit of a buff. I believe the Sphinx got a buff as well. Does it change her tier ranking, though? So she gets that one additional culture if she builds the Sphinx on floodplains. I don't think it's made her really that much better. She's still just, she's okay in culture. She's pretty okay in religion. Kind of bleh at these two. So, C for diplomacy as well. Congrats, Cleo, you stay in the C tier. Qin Shi Huang, he actually has been buffed. The Great Wall got buffed. I believe, I don't think that he personally got buffed, but the Great Wall was. I don't know why I gave him a D in domination. He doesn't deserve a D in domination. I think I had said something about you don't want to be at war because you want to focus on your Eurekas and inspirations, but it's kind of a load of bullcrap because you need to be at war to get some Eurekas and inspirations, so I take that one back. So everyone who raged in the comments about that one, you were right. I'll give it to you on that one. Do I want to raise his culture ranking? I have seen some pretty insane things of Qin Shi Huang being pretty insane in culture in a few games recently. Great Wall Civ 6. Let me recall exactly what the buffs were to the ability. So now he gets +2. Oh. Wait. Am I reading this right? So 2 gold for each adjacent wall, and 2 culture for each adjacent wall with castles. So that's up to a 4 gold, 4 culture tile. Can only be pillaged by natural disasters. 4 gold, 4 culture, that's actually kind of good. That's much better than the 2 gold, 2 culture that I think it was whenever I first reviewed them. Let me check just to make sure that I wasn't just losing that. I'm pretty sure that this was very recently buffed. Civ 6 China Leader Spotlight. Watch, I'm not even going to be able to find my own video. There he is. Hopefully my sound's not on. Okay. Oh man, look at this schmuck putting ads on his videos. Man, I gotta watch my own ads. That's disappointing. I'm skipping them. I don't want the ad revenue anyways. All right, let's take a look here. Whenever I did this, yeah, okay. So whenever I did the video on Qin Shi Huang, it was only the 1 gold and 1 culture for each adjacent, but that's since been doubled, and now I think the Great Wall doesn't suck that bad anymore. So you know what, Qin Shi Huang, you're getting an A in culture. Does it move him up from C tier? Ooh, now that is a question. So, he is pretty okay at culture. A lot of people were actually pretty mad when I did the Chinese leader spotlight because a lot of people thought he was pretty good. I think he is going to move up into B tier. That buff to the Great Wall alone, because that was like the biggest gripe I had with him, was the fact that the Great Wall was kind of underwhelming. So I think that the fact that it's been buffed is helping him out a little bit. So he's going to move up into B tier. So congrats, Jinshi Huang. You've done it. And he's going to get a C in diplomacy, though. Sorry, pal. All right, Alexander. He's someone that my views have changed on. I don't think he himself has actually changed, but I do think that he's better than C tier. I think he's B tier. Really, the only reason is because I played, like, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 more games as him, and in a few of them I was like, wow, he's got a pretty good early game. Well, maybe like early/mid game. I do find that after that, though, he really does wear off quite a bit. And he also needs a B in science. I mean, his oh man, I never remember the pronunciation for it, but his unique building that gives the science every time you complete a military unit, it's not that insane, but it's enough to actually make him kind of okay in science. He also definitely gets a D in diplomacy because he loves those grievances. Even though he's immune to war weariness, he still gets grievances. Mvemba. So Mvemba actually just got recently indirectly nerfed because they nerfed Great Works of Writing. So they have the culture and tourism output of Great Works of Writing, which really hurts Mvemba because that's really what he relies on quite a bit to, you know, get the good stuff from all of his great writers and stuff. So he is nerfed. I don't think it's going to change his tier ranking, though. Might lower his culture victory rating. Ooh, does it? Nah, probably not. Well, actually, nah. Because since that nerf technically affects everybody, it's not going to make him at a particular disadvantage. So compared to everyone else, I think he still is fairly decent. All right, now here's someone else that has changed a lot. Victoria. So let me pull up her leader page. Victoria, Civ 6. And so now she has the brand new Workshop of the World, which is significantly better than the old Workshop of the World, I must say. So I guess it wasn't even called Workshop of the World before, was it? But now you get iron and coal mines accumulating 2 more resources per turn, double production towards military engineers that receive +2 charges. And then now buildings that are powered will provide an additional +4 of their respective yield, and you get 20% production towards industrial buildings, and harbor buildings increase your strategic resource stockpiles by +10 on standard speed. So that's a lot, and all of that's pretty good. She did lose the British Museum, though, so her culture rating goes down to a C. Congrats, Victoria. You've moved down in that regard. Science, though. I think she's moved up to B tier in science. Get those extra yields from your research labs. You can get those industrial zones out quite a bit more. So both of those things are very good for science victory. So she definitely moves up in that regard. Does it move her up a tier, though? I still don't think so. But she definitely is a significantly better leader than before. I'm surprised that I actually put her in C tier before, because she definitely did. I don't think she even deserved C tier before. She was definitely a D tier Civ before. But now with these new buffs, I definitely think she deserves to be C tier. She actually is a playable Civ now, I think. She's, I don't want to just, uninstall the game every time I'm playing her anymore. So that's a very good thing, and I actually quite enjoy playing her now. So she definitely gets some props for that, and D tier in Diplo Victory, because she loves to pollute and she loves to war people. So that's 2 things that are very bad for diplomatic favor. These guys haven't changed. Chandragupta. So Chandragupta got nerfed a little bit, actually, because the Varu got nerfed. So that hurts him. I was already pretty hard on him at the start, though, putting him in D tier. A lot of people thought that I should have put him in C tier, but I didn't like him that much. The step whale still sucks. India's ability, it sucked. And now the Varu got nerfed, so I definitely think the D tier is deserving here. So let's look up Civ 6, just because I know who I'm going to need to look up soon. But Jai Varman hasn't changed at all, so he definitely is staying here. He's still pretty bad. Chandragupta D in religion, or not religion, diplomacy, actually, since he's a warmongering Civ, and I know that we're going to have someone else that's much improved from last time. Wilfrid Laurier. I spelled his name wrong. Man, what am I doing? His name has an I in it. All right, well, there we go. That's the most important change there. But Wilfrid Laurier has gotten a lot of changes. So he gets now additional production from his mines that are in the tundra. He gets additional production from lumber mills in the tundra. He gets additional food from camps in the tundra. I think that's all of his changes. And whenever I did the leader spotlight on him, I complained a lot about how bad the production in the Tundra is and how it's just such a slog to do anything. And who knows, maybe the Civ team watched that and they were like, hey, we should give this guy some more production. So I'm going to take credit for that, even though I probably don't deserve it. No, I'm just kidding. I definitely was not the only one that was complaining about his production. But he definitely moves up. And in fact, I think he moves up all the way into B tier. Whenever I played him on stream the other day, I was actually having a pretty fun time. The amount of production that you can get on him is kind of cool, and also if you take the camps Pantheon as well, that gives the additional production and food from those, you can get some pretty sweet camps as Wilfred, and I think it's helped him out quite a lot. You see, the thing though, his individual victory tiers really haven't changed, but he's a lot more playable now. I think he's a lot more fun to play. He gets that production, so you're not just painstakingly slogging your way through the game the whole time. And he is still a really good Diplo victory winner. So Diplo victory is now also a lot more fun. So he hasn't really gotten that much better, strictly speaking, towards a specific victory. But as an overall Civ, he definitely has improved just because of his much better Tundra yields now than what they used to be. All right, Eleanor England. Workshop of the World got buffed. I still think that Eleanor England is just kind of confusing to me. I don't get... If she had the British Museum, then I think that she would be pretty good. And honestly, I would kind of think... I think that it would be cool if they added the British Museum back in, but only for Eleanor, not Victoria. Because then there would actually be like a reason to go for those great works, and it would work well with Eleanor's ability. So Civ team, if you're watching this, maybe consider putting the British Museum back in on Eleanor. That would definitely raise her up into C tier. I think she'd be on par with Victoria, and just slightly different playstyle, which I think would be really fun. So if you're watching this Civ team, maybe consider giving the British Museum back to Eleanor. Harold, I don't think has got really any changes, but pillaging has changed. I still think that Harold sucks, and nothing changes here. He's also going to get a D in this victory type, the one, because he's a warmongering Civ. Tamar still sucks. Tamar did get some change in Gathering Storm, though, I know. Let me look it up real fast. Tamar, Civ 6. So what happened with Tamar? Something happened with Tamar. What is it? Can I not find it? I cannot find it for the life of me. I could have sworn something changed with Tamar. I don't remember. I think it was a change to the CK, that like the CK got more faith or something like that. It still sucks. Tamar is still a terrible Civ. The problem is, Tamar is just a bad Civ. Actually, she's pretty good in Diplo Victory, though, because you can get pretty easy suzerainship with spreading your religion to people. But Tamar's a weird Civ because she's a very defensive Civ in a game that has a meta that's very offensive, because you want to expand and be aggressive towards people in Civ 6, so playing a Civ that likes to just sit back and, kind of wall up doesn't really work all that well. Philip. Yeah, Philip still is... His early game is just so bad. So, once again, Civ team, if you're watching this and you want to get some sort of ideas on how to improve Philip, target his early game. He needs a better early game, because a lot of the time you just get the crap beat out of you while you're trying to rush for your religion and also try to play, build up a navy and try to get traders out. And he has too many things that he wants to do early on, which means that he doesn't have enough time to do them all, because, he wants to be a trade Civ, he wants to have a strong navy, he wants to attack people on land, he wants to get a religion and use that to attack people on land. He wants to do too many things, but he doesn't have enough resources early on to do that. So the area that I would suggest you improve most with Philip is that he needs some sort of bonus towards generating his great profit, I think. Because that's the biggest slowing point for him, is that it's really hard for him to get a religion while also trying to do other things, because you have to put a lot of resources into it on deity, and that really just slogs up his early game. So if you improve one thing with Philip, try to improve his religious early game. I think he also deserves a D in diplomacy. Now Gandhi. Gandhi has gotten some changes. That I know for a fact. He's actually gotten some pretty decent changes, if I remember correctly. So, actually, I guess it was India as a whole, which I forgot to mention with Chandragupta, because, yeah, it actually was India's thing that got changed. I don't think it really affects Chandragupta as much as it does Gandhi, but Gandhi, though, So India now gets +1 amenity for each religion with at least one follower in the cities. They also get 2 additional spread religion charge on missionaries and double religious pressure from Indian trade routes. So out of that, the amenities are really good. The additional spread religion charges on missionaries, I think, are some of the best things because spread religion charges are effective. So getting more of them is really helpful towards spreading your religion. Now, the double religious pressure from trade routes is pretty much inconsequential because of how low the pressure is. I'm pretty sure that the pressure from a trade route is 0.5. So rising that up to +1, it's still, to get this the equivalent, religious pressure of 1 missionary spread, it will take you 220 turns of running a trade route. So it literally means nothing. I could have those numbers mixed up in my head, but it literally takes like more than 50 turns out of a trade route to get the effect of 1 missionary spread, which I think is really stupid. So I really think that they need to change religious pressure. It needs some sort of buff to make it actually, do something and not just be immediately overwhelmed by all the missionaries. But Gandhi, I definitely think, has moved up from F tier. Now, the problem is the Stepwell still sucks and Gandhi's ability still sucks. So he hasn't moved that far up. Oh, no, what'd I do? I pressed the wrong button. So Gandhi hasn't moved that far up. Does he go into C tier? I think he... Well, the Varu also did get nerfed. Let me look at the Stepwell real fast. Yeah, it's not great, is it? Yeah, I think Gandhi's gonna move into D tier. He's moved up. He's gotten better. Or should I? No, I'm gonna move him into A tier. His religious game is good enough to warrant A tier. I think he's or not A tier. His religious game is A tier, but he as an overall civ, as a result, is in B tier now. By that I mean C tier because I forget how to speak English. But yeah, the improvements to India's ability definitely make him a better religious civ. I guess Chandragupta is deserving of that same ranking too then, just because of, that. Oh man, but if I do that, then, no, Gandhi's going D tier. I think that Chandragupta is still the better Indian leader. So yeah. Does he get anything in? We'll give him... I want to give him a B tier in diplomacy, but he doesn't really get any bonuses towards having alliances or being suzerain of city-states, and you don't really want to go to war with people, so I guess that is a good thing, but it doesn't really get you any extra diplomatic favor, it just kind of prevents you from losing it. So for that reason, I think that he is in D tier. So yeah, I'm just going to get rid of these statistics because they don't really mean anything. I just kind of did it because I was curious, and I don't want to update them all since I just flipped around all these leaders, so I'm just going to get rid of them all. And remember how to format these cells. There we go. So yeah, this is the new tier ranking. The spreadsheet link will be in the description below. I'm sure I'm going to go back and look at this again and have some sort of thought. So maybe in a few months, I'm sure they'll probably patch things and change leaders again. So in a few months, I'm sure I'll do another update like this if things have changed significantly enough. But if you want to check out this tier list, the link is in the description below. So feel free to check that out and, have it up on your second monitor whenever you're thinking of leaders to play. But thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this rather informal video today. But I have been the Saxy Gamer. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you're looking for more Civilization 6 content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.